In this video, you'll be learning about this topic. Talk to us about some of your thoughts on non-financial uses of blockchains. Are there any? Insurance, identity, and do you see that being built on top of Bitcoin? Do you see other platforms? How do you see a lot of this moving forward beyond just Bitcoin as a token of decentralized currency? Or
That's a great question. So I always think about it from a kind of more product mindset of Satoshi built blockchain tech to build Bitcoin. Blockchain technology has a pretty minimal surface area of what it is useful for. Similar to how a shovel is useful for very few things, and a tank, for example, isn't useful for ride sharing or picking up groceries or dropping off the kids at school. Everything in this world is special purpose built for a certain function. Blockchain is the same thing. And so with blockchain technology, I think that if we look at how it functions, there's a lot of things we can eliminate that it could potentially do. For example, having real world assets on a blockchain, I don't think makes a lot of sense. And here's why. Let's say I tokenize my house, and I take my house and I take the deed to my house, and it's now been digitized. Okay, well, let's say that deed that I own on the blockchain is transferred to someone else because they hacked my account and moved it. So in the real world, the US government, which enforces the title and the title other counterparties as well, like I think there's like different, I don't own a home, so I know that there are title folks, there's like title insurance and there's title transfers and whatnot. They don't recognize the legitimacy of that transaction on a blockchain. In the real world, they're the legitimate recognized party that deems who owns what. And the government enforces that physically in the real world, so that any tokenized asset on a chain may or may not be recognized by authorities as a legitimate transaction. Furthermore, enforcement of that again falls onto like not only the recognition, but the enforcement as well falls onto the local physically present individuals. If someone stole the title to my house on a blockchain, I'm still going to live in it. Good luck getting me out. So, I think these real world assets it's a big problem bringing them on chain because one, you've got the physical based authorities who don't recognize it as a legitimate way to transfer assets that exist in the real world. You also have the problem of validating that the asset is on chain. So if you tokenize something like you tokenize an apple and put it on chain, you still have to rely on some trusted party to verify the physical nature of it, that it exists in a certain location and whatnot. So all you've really done is added a wrapper, like a digital wrapper around a real world asset, put that on chain, but you still have all the problems that you would with any centralized system of validation that this real world asset exists. I think that only digitally native assets like Bitcoin itself, the token that's digitally native to the chain, is the only asset you can truly own and utilize blockchain technology for. So that's my opinion on blockchain tech in terms of the assets that you can have on chain. I'm also, I would say, a Bitcoin realist. So when it comes to Bitcoin versus other types of cryptocurrencies or crypto assets, I'm primarily just a fan of Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's blockchain was created to solve a problem of storing value, to being gold 2.0. And there are other hypothesized use cases of blockchain technology or other hypothesized assets that could be alternative stores of value. But I find it very unlikely that Bitcoin will be taken out of its number one seat as a globally recognized store of value. I think that, for example, Litecoin or Dogecoin would never replace the trust that people have in Bitcoin, in Bitcoin's origin, and Bitcoin's governance, and other issues that it's gone through that demonstrate the resiliency of the agreed upon social contract that we have with the Bitcoin blockchain. For example, like the enforcement of the 21 million hard cap and for the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. These demonstrated Bitcoin's resiliency and demonstrated why it deserves the title of digital gold. Whereas these other assets, I don't think deserve that. And I think long-term investors will likely realize that. And so I think Bitcoin being challenged in that store of value asset category is very unlikely. So, some people go, oh, is Bitcoin MySpace or Facebook? And in this case, when Bitcoin is being a new digital gold and a new store of value, its unchanging nature leads to confidence being built in its longevity over time. This is called the Lindy effect. And so I think that Bitcoin is basically unchallenged in the store of value category.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next podcast episode and new investing resources.
What are your takeaways and thoughts on this discussion? Let us know in the comments section below.